Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button. We are here every single day. It's bank holiday here in the UK, but we are still streaming here, seeing what's going on with the cryptocurrency news. So please give us a like for that. Let's see what's going on in the price of Bitcoin here. We are down 0.48% in the last 24 hours to 25,940. What's actually going on with the price of Bitcoin here? You can see we did have a big CME gap up here at $27,490. We didn't create a CME gap this weekend, so we're still looking at that one as the closest CME gap to the current price. We do have one down at $20,000 as well, and one up at $35,000 as well. But we'll be analysing the price of Bitcoin later in today's stream, so make sure to stay tuned until the very end. We're going to do about 20 minutes of the cryptocurrency news, and then we'll jump straight into that. Let's see what's going on with the price of Ethereum first, though. Ethereum is currently down 0.86% within the last 24 hours to 1,636. So overall, it's looking a little bit red in the markets today, but that is as expected, to be honest. We've not really seen such good news in the markets. So let's talk about that first of all. So first, let's talk about what's happening with Biden. Now, Biden has potentially tried to kill adoption of cryptocurrency in the US, according to a financial services chair. Now, we've seen a proposal for crypto tax regulations in the US, and they are very, very strict. Now, if we take a look at this article here, we can see the Department of Justice has released proposed regulations for crypto tax reports in the US, and the rules will subject crypto brokers to the same tax reporting regulations as brokers for securities and other financial instruments. We've seen a lot of talk about how cryptocurrency miners can be regulated in the US as well, all looking very, very strict. And as we keep saying about the cryptocurrency space, we want to see growth of the industry. We want to see regulation in the space, but we want to see regulation that allows the industry to continue to grow. And if we have really strict tax implications, or we have really strict regulation in general, that makes it really hard for the space to grow. Now, the problem is, if the US push out the cryptocurrency adoption in the cryptocurrency space, I personally believe they're just kicking the can down the road, and they're missing that first mover advantage. They're missing out on that first adoption, and other countries are going to adopt cryptocurrency instead, and they're going to be racing to catch up. That's what I think is going to happen, but we'll have to see how this plays out. We are also seeing reports from the DYDX founder, who has said crypto builders should exit the US market for at least 5 years. Now, he's saying if your project isn't big enough, there's no point trying to face all the implications and the problems in the US right now. Instead, go offshore, build your company, work on it, create a fully functioning project, one that we all want and we all want to invest into. And then once you're big enough and you've created the foundations, then move into the US, and then you can face those problems. But don't just start in the US, because there's too many problems there and you're just not going to be able to grow. So that's what the DYDX founder is saying here. But it's very interesting to see here. Are we just going to accept that the US isn't the place to grow as a cryptocurrency industry and just focus elsewhere until the US decide that they need to start playing catch up? Maybe this is how we need to look at it now. Let's continue on to the next piece of news here and see what else is going on. Now, what we are seeing here actually is the USDEA has been tricked into sending $55,000 worth of USDT to a scammer. So the US Drug Enforcement Agency has actually been scammed, subject to a cryptocurrency scam. So we can see here, according to a Forbes report, the USDEA accidentally sent $55,000 in cryptocurrency to such a scammer earlier this year. The funds were part of a $500,000 haul of USDT seized in an investigation linked to 2 Binance accounts that were being used to launder proceeds of narcotics sales. So the DEA eventually transferred the USDT to a Trezor hardware wallet. If you want more information on this one, check the link. I'll put the link to this in today's chat, but it's pretty shocking to see here. The regulators, the people that are trying to control this, are also being subject to these scammers as well. Let's see what else is going on here. So Evergrande is the biggest property developer, one of the biggest property developers in the world. They are a Chinese company, and they filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy in the state of New York just a couple of weeks ago. Now, they had seen problems earlier on in 2021, I believe, and they stopped trading for 17 months. Now, they've started trading again, and their share price has dropped by 78%. So this is a real concern here. So they're in further hot water as its share price tumbled 78% on Monday. As expected, to be honest, there's been a lot of fear around this. So what we are seeing here is they filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy protection in the US while it seeks to restructure its debt following further financial struggles. So what's the concern around this? Now, Evergrande, as I said, is one of the biggest property developers in the world. They account for a huge percentage of China's economy, and what we could see here is a lot of is this spreading. If they actually can't continue to move forwards, we could see problems in the Chinese economy, in the US economy, and this could be a really big trigger for a crisis here. So if this were to happen and we were to see this move down further and this have an implication on Evergrande and its future, just be aware that we could see some volatility there. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news today. Before we continue today's stream, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. What else we have in today's news is, let's pull this up, Bitcoin miner revenue per terahash approaching all-time low. So Bitcoin miner revenue is approaching a critical point. According to a tweet from Bitcoin analyst, miner revenue per terahash is nearing all-time lows. So remember the Bitcoin miner revenue spike this spring. Well, that was fun. Miner revenue per terahash nearing fresh all-time lows, as is tradition. So we're seeing here, but they provided a high time frame view of this tradition in a comment to his initial tweet. So we can see regarding what this means for Bitcoin miners in the mid to long term, they've said, excellent, per tradition, we are less than a year from a major spike. So following this up by stating, yeah, hash rate lag from 2021 cycle seems like it's on its last legs of onboarding. Of course, more efficient new rings will keep being produced, but it's almost time for price to outpace 18 to 24 months even, doesn't matter, buy miners when price runs faster than hash. Simple. So what we're seeing here is a lot of people gearing up for the next Bitcoin halving, seeing a lot of excitement, and although the prices has moved to the downside for Bitcoin, people are looking at this and saying, look, we're falling in the typical cycles that we always seem to see. There's nothing really going on different here in terms of the 4-year cycles. So should we really be as concerned as we seem to be right now? We are seeing also reports from JP Morgan. Let's pull that up quickly. I'm not sure where this is. It's in here somewhere. JP Morgan have said, this is the one, JP Morgan have said that the correction is probably over. Now, JP Morgan analysts have said, look, we fell from $29,500 to $24,255 in just 3 days, and now we've managed to hold this price point pretty steadily right now. So could this be the end of this correction? Potentially. Now we're seeing a lot of fear being spread in the markets right now, and a lot of people calling for lower prices once again, but Bitcoin takes the path of most pain. If everybody is feeling super bearish, Bitcoin might not go as low as we think. And I always say this, Bitcoin never goes as low as you think in a bear market and never goes as high as you think in a bull market. It takes the path of most pain. It likes to liquidate as many people as possible. If everybody is super bearish, then we need to maybe think a little bit more positively. And if everyone is super bullish, then we need to be prepared for a correction. Now, obviously, there's things going on in the general economy that we can't ignore right now, but just being aware of this, JP Morgan analysts are saying here, maybe this is the end of the downside for crypto right now. Maybe we should be looking at this and saying, look, there's a need for crypto more than ever. So let's keep an eye on that. I will drop the link to this in today's chat here as well, so you can take a look at this if you want a little bit more detail. Let's see what else is going on in the crypto news. We have Balancer have been exploited for approximately $900,000. So Ethereum-based automated market maker Balancer has been exploited here. We can see here, despite efforts, Balancer's prompt action mitigated over 80% of vulnerabilities from a critical protocol pool issue, but despite efforts, around 4% of funds are still at risk, and blockchain expert Mir Modolev revealed the attacker's Ethereum address received transfers totaling almost $900,000. So more exploits going on in the cryptocurrency space. How long are we going to see this continue? Headline news over and over again that we're seeing more problems here. This is what we get for being early to a cryptocurrency, to the industry. I would say every single new industry, this is just the growing pains that we're seeing here, but we're all taking advantage of being in the industry early by taking advantage that you don't see big gains like you see in crypto if you join the industry late. The gains that we're seeing in crypto and these bull market cycles where we're seeing these huge percentage gains and those huge amounts of profits is because we're early into the space. But one of the downsides of being early into a space is that we see these exploits and we see these growing pains, but you've got to take the losses with the wins essentially. Let's continue on with the next piece of news here and see what else is going on. So we have OnlyFans parent company bought $19.889 million in Ethereum in 2022. So the financial records show that Finex International invested almost $20 million in its working capital into Ethereum. And the investment also underwent an $8.455 million impairment loss as of 30th of November 2022. So maybe they're not happy right now with that investment choice, but over the long term, maybe it will flick back positive. That's what I'm hoping for here. We can see that's very interesting, and maybe over the next couple of years we'll see the implementation of cryptocurrency on some major platforms like this. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's take a look at the next story here. So the Crypto Steel capsule, is this the most secure seed phrase storage solution? So many people write down their seed phrase on paper, which can fade and is susceptible to water and fire damage. Is this solution encasing your seed in steel? Now, there's so many ways that you can protect your cryptocurrency, and every single way has its flaw. I mean, we can look at centralized exchanges and we see the flaw, not your keys, not your crypto. Then we can say, maybe we should move over to hardware wallets, and that still has its concerns. You write your seed phrase on a piece of paper. That paper could get destroyed in a fire or have water damage, or the pen could fade on that piece of paper. So we're looking at even safer ways here, and you can find some Crypto Steel capsules if you wish, and that is like a metal thing where you can put your seed phrase into metal, and that's obviously fire and waterproof, but it depends how much risk you're going to take. Every single solution to storing your cryptocurrency means you're taking on a little bit of risk. So we need to analyze this and understand this. This is what we get for being in a self-custody industry, but we've chosen to be in self-custody because many of us do see this as a safer way of storing your assets than the traditional methods. If you want to take a look at this method and take a look through this article where somebody has done a deep dive into this and taught you how you can use one of these things, make sure to check out the link. I will drop this in today's live chat there. Again, someone in the team here has gone on a deep dive on this, probably a very big fan of these things. Obviously, if you are storing a lot of cryptocurrency, they've written Crypto Saving Expert out. That's very cool. If you are storing cryptocurrency on a centralized exchange and you want to educate yourself on how best to store your cryptocurrency and learn about self-custody, make sure to check out cryptosavingexpert.com. In the guides section here, we've got guides on how to store your cryptocurrency in the different software wallets, hardware wallets, and we've got a course on how to stay safe and some guides on how to stay safe in the cryptocurrency space as well. So make sure to check that out, all completely for free. Let's see what else is going on today in the cryptocurrency news, and then we'll get on to the price of Bitcoin in just a second. We have Decent biometric wallets. Are biometrics important for hardware wallets? So Decent is a Korean company specializing in cryptocurrency hardware wallets, and someone in the team has taken a look at their wallets to see how it's ranked compared to its competition. So if you're interested in Decent wallets, which I believe I have one somewhere on my very messy desk, maybe we'll do an unboxing of that one day next week. I will drop the link to that in the chat today as well. We'll do an unboxing of one of these things together and see what we get in one of those packages. I like the Decent wallet. It looks cool. I'm really excited to check that out. Let's continue on to the next article here and see what else is going on. Crypto users lose $6.4 million in another rug pull on Coinbase's Base protocol. Base is the layer 2 solution for Ethereum, Coinbase's new layer 2. And we can see here, there's been another rug pull. We've seen quite a few rug pulls on the network so far. Obviously, this has nothing to do with Base. Anybody can develop projects on the Base network. It just seems to be very unfortunate. It's giving this a little bit of a bad name here. We can see a lot of excitement around Base. We saw the transaction volume increase massively, but we are seeing another rug pull. So pretty disappointing for the team there. Obviously, it's got nothing to do with them. It doesn't really affect them, but It's just the reputation that you're kind of losing here. So on-chain sleuth ZachXBT first warned users about Magnate Finance in the early hours of Friday, and the analyst discovered that the protocol's deployer address was directly linked to the Soulfire $4.8 million exit scam there. So he has been warning us here, but people have been subject to that rug pull and lost a huge amount of money. Obviously, we have already discussed this, but we've seen a huge amount of meme coins launch on Base within its first few days. We had Bald, we had Coin, we had Base, and many of these have rug pulled here. We can see Bald developers could abscond with more than $23 million in users' funds, with individual traders incurring losses between $500 to $1.87 million. So huge amounts of money here that we're talking about. These rug pulls just don't seem to be going away right now. There's a lot of pain in the cryptocurrency space, and we don't need these people around making things worse. Let's see what else is going on. Two more stories today, and then we'll get onto the price of Bitcoin. The Fed have said it's likely to hike interest rates further. We are seeing discussions of changing the 2% inflation goal to 3% actually. And that is a massive, massive change there, because although 2% to 3% doesn't look as much, that's a 50% increase from 2% to 3%. We're seeing a huge rise there actually. And this is because we're seeing these concerns around how we can get inflation down and continue to increase these interest rates further. Huge problems going on here, and this is what's making me a little bit concerned about the volatility to come in the cryptocurrency market, because the general economy does have a massive role to play in the prices of cryptocurrency and could cause some volatility here. So things are looking pretty uncertain right now. What else can we see here? Uniswap overtakes Coinbase for spot volume. Uniswap was outperformed Coinbase through 2023, with the decentralized exchange beating the centralized entity in Q1 and Q2. But Uniswap has overtaken Coinbase once again. This is thankful too, I imagine, the drop in Ethereum transaction fees over the last couple of months. They did get incredibly high, but they have started to calm down now, and people are starting to notice that again and start moving back over to the platform. Let's see what's going on with the price of Bitcoin now. Let's take a look at the CME gaps. Let's take a look at the supports and resistances. Let's see what's going on here. So first of all, on the 1 hour chart, you can see we have a CME gap at $27,500. That's from last weekend. We don't really have a CME gap from this weekend. It's already been filled. If we take a look at the daily chart, you can see we also have one down at $20,300, and we have one up at $35,000 as well. All acting like magnets for the Bitcoin price. Which one do you guys think we're going to fill first? Let me know in the chat below. I think obviously it's between the $20,300 level and the $27,500 level. But let's take a look at some supports and resistance and see what's going on there. What we can see here is we break through that massive level of support on the daily chart just over a week ago, and now we are looking at some levels of support and resistance here. I believe we have a pretty strong level of support here actually at $24,800 to $25,250. We've been holding that pretty well. We've wicked it a couple of times, but will this hold? The more news that comes out that is negative about Evergrande and the interest rates and the inflation rates, the more negative I'm starting to feel about this. We just need to be prepared for every scenario right now. If more negative news comes out, we could be looking at some negative volatility. But until then, until we see some major news, Bitcoin looks like it's going to go sideways once again. Bitcoin's really enjoying going sideways right now. And until we see some major news, I don't think that's going to stop. So we're keeping a close eye on that. But right now, I think this is the level of support to be watching out for. In terms of levels of resistance, I'm seeing this point here as a level of resistance at $26,750. We've wicked that a couple of times as well. So that's really the zone that I imagine we're going to continue in until we see some major news. But we'll be keeping you up to date with the news here on the channel. So make sure, please, to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button today. That is all we have. Thank you very much